Welcome to USA Stories channel. We hope you will have fun with us. Enjoy watching. The rush of water cascaded through the kitchen, a steady hum as I plunged my hands into the warm, soapy depths of the sink. The house was cloaked in an eerie stillness tonight, a stark contrast to its usual clamor. My husband Michael had dashed out to grab something from the store, leaving me to bask in a fleeting pocket of solitude. It was a rare gift, a chance to savor the quiet, to lose myself in the simple rhythm of scrubbing dishes. After a grueling day, a soft sigh escaped my lips as the heat seeped into my skin. The soot sliding off a plate in a hypnotic dance. The repetitive motion was a balm, a tether pulling me from the chaotic swirl of my thoughts. Beyond the window, street lights flickered faintly, their glow spilling into the room, while the distant drone of cars underscored how late it had grown. Then a shiver pickled my spine. Someone was there too close. My body locked up, muscles coiling tight before my brain could catch up. The hairs on my neck stood like sentinels, and my breath snagged in my throat. I didn't need to turn to know that scent. Rich woods, unmistakable, washed over me. Adam Michael friend. My grip on the slippery plate tightened, but I forced my hands to keep moving, scouring the surface as if I could scrub away the sudden awareness, electrifying my every nerve. My pulse thundered against my ribs loud enough to drown out the water. "What are you doing?" My voice held steady, though it felt like a lie. His breath grazed my neck warm and far too near, just watching a nervous laugh slipped out. Brittle and unconvincing. There was nothing amusing about the weight of him lingering there. "You're awfully quiet, for someone who just walked and didn't want to disturb you." His words hung heavy, thick with something unspoken. I willed my hands to keep moving, to pretend this was nothing, that I wasn't painfully aware of the heat radiating from him pressing against my back. But then he shifted and denial became impossible. I tilted my head just enough to glimpse him from the corner of my eye. His gaze pinned me dark, unreadable, a smirk teasing the edge of his lips like he held a secret. I couldn't grasp my breath, trembled out. "Where's Michael?" He shrugged, easing back a fraction. "Still out, thought I'd keep you company," the way he said. It twisted my stomach, not the words, but the way they lingered, his eyes never wavering. I swallowed hard, forcing calm into my voice. "Well, I don't need company. I'm just finishing up." I waited for him to take the hint to leave. Instead, he leaned against a counter, his stare boring into me with an intensity that made my fingers quiver against the plate. "You always work this hard." His voice was low, a velvet edge to it. I managed a tight smile, clinging to levity. "Somebody has to clean up after dinner." His smirk deepened. "I don't think he appreciates you enough." My breath hitched, hands freezing, mid-scrub. "Excuse me." He tilted his head, casual but piercing. "I'm just saying he leaves you alone." Too much words failed me. The air crackled, charged with attention. I couldn't name a line we'd crossed without moving. I turned back to the dishes, focusing on the water's rush, its warmth, anything to drown, the storm brewing in my C******tea. But then he stepped closer, not touching, not yet, but close enough that his presence pressed against me, an invisible force. I couldn't shake, my jaw clenched as I gripped the sink's edge. "I think you should go." A long pause stretched between us. Then finally he shifted back. "All right," he said, his tone of mystery. "I'll see you later." His footsteps echoed through the silent house as he left the front door, clicking shut behind him. Only then did I release the breath I'd trapped, but the unease clung to me, sticky and persistent. Something had shifted, and I knew deep down this wasn't the end. The door's echo still rang when my pulse refused to settle, my breathing ragged, my body taut from the ghost of his nearness. I thought he was gone, that I could bury whatever had just happened. But minutes later, footsteps returned, slow, deliberate. I spun, half expecting Michael. Maybe he'd forgotten something, but it wasn't him. Adam stood in the doorway, his expression a mask, his eyes dark and unwavering as they locked onto mine. I swallowed, throat dry. "Why are you still here?" He didn't answer right away, stepping inside and easing the door shut with a quiet, unsettling grace. "I forgot something," he said at last, though his voice lacked its usual ease. My lips felt parched as I licked them, trapped between the counter and the weight of his stare. "You should go." His smirk returned, lazy and knowing. "Should I?" Silence pulsed between us, thick and taut. He moved closer, each step measured until he was a breath away. You felt it too, didn't you? His voice was a low tease, but something raw, dangerous simmered beneath it. I shook my head, fighting the shiver racing through me. This is wrong. He let out a quiet laugh. Is it my C********T headed with uneven breaths? He wasn't touching me, not yet, but his nearness set my skin ablaze. Your husband trusts me, you know. He murmured, his breath brushing my cheek. Maybe a little too much. My fingers curled tighter against the countertop. Resolved. Framing the air thickened, suffocating a secret, teetering on the edge of exposure. His hand rose, grazing my arm, a whisper of contact that jolted through me like lightning. My body betrayed me, leaning into the tension coiling between us. Tell me to leave, he said softly, a challenge woven into the words. I opened my mouth, but nothing came. His fingertips trailed down my wrist, featherlight taunting. That's what I thought. A sharp breath filled my lungs. I should stop this. I had to, but my body had already chosen. His lips hovered dangerously close to mine, waiting. Then the crunch of tires on gravel snapped us apart. A car in the driveway. Reality slammed into me, harsh and unrelenting. I shoved him back, my voice shaky. Go now. His eyes darkened, but he didn't fight it. With one last lingering look, he slipped out the back door. My hands shook as I pressed them to my C*******T, willing my heart to slow. Moments later, the front door swung open, Michael's voice cutting through the haze, casual, oblivious. Hey, babe, got everything we needed. I forced a smile, turning as he stepped into the kitchen bags, rustling. As he set them down, his arm slid around my waist, a quick kiss brushing my temple. Yuoka, you look a little flushed. I nodded, throat tight. Yeah, just the heat from the water, he chuckled. I told you worked too hard. If only he knew, as I helped him unpack. The phantom of Adam touch lingered on my skin. My mind replayed it. The hitch in my breath, the way I'd wavered. I should have been relieved. It stopped before it went too far. But deep down I knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. If you enjoyed this suspenseful story and want to hear more, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more thrilling content.